Do you like steak? I like steak. I bet there's one steak that a lot of you have never tried before, and that's Koji steak. My name is Mark, welcome to my Nerdy Bits, and I'm going to be talking about Koji steak. I mentioned dry aged steak. Dry aged steak is a steak that has been put in a temperature controlled environment for about 45 days. The enzymes within the steak break down the protein structure, moisture in the steak leaves, so it gives a very nice, dense, but tender and very flavorful steak. The process takes about 45 days to get a nice, decent texture to it. But what if you could do it in 3, maybe even 2 days? That's where Koji comes in. Now, what is Koji? Koji is a fungus. It's a fungus that the Japanese have been using for a while now to make things like miso soup, sake, soy sauce. So you've heard of all those before, or most of those, so you know that they've been around for a while. There's a way to take that same fungus that is safe for humans. Just because I say fungus or mold, it doesn't mean that it's going to make you sick. This one is safe for consumption, obviously. But you can take that same fungus, wrap it around a steak, and put it in the fridge for about 2 to 3 days. You won't get the exact same flavor as a dry aged steak, but you're definitely going to get a much more beefier flavor, and you're also going to get a little extra. So what's going on? Well, the rice is extracting the moisture just like dry age when it sits in there, and it assists the enzymes in breaking down the protein structure of the steak. So it's a fast track to almost the same thing. Now I say almost because there is a difference between dry age and the Koji steak, but the Koji steak is still very, very good. You guys definitely gotta try it, and I'm going to show you now how to use Koji Rice that I purchased off of Amazon and put it on a steak, and you just got to try it. Oh, the method that I used here to make the steak, to cook the steak, is called sous vide. And if you've never tried sous vide, you got to try it, especially with meats, because you'll end up with the same result, perfect result, almost every single time. So enjoy the video and learn. I picked up my Koji Rice off of Amazon. The price was fairly reasonable, and I don't know any local stores that carry it. I got some ribeye from Sprouts. It's about 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick. I'm gonna pat the meat dry a little bit so that I can get some of that moisture off of it. And as you can see, the Koji rice is all clumped up. You're gonna have to break it up somehow. I'm gonna put the Koji rice inside a bag, in which I will pound it in a hammer and break it up. As to how far you grind it up and mash it, it's all up to you. I think it works best when it's in a powder form, so the finer you get it, the better. I just got to a point where I just felt like it was good enough. Make sure you spread it out throughout the steak and get all the sides as well. Just try not to waste any. Get it all over. I'm placing it right over several forks to lift it up right off the plate so that the air can travel underneath the steak. Then I place it right in the fridge to sit for about 2 to 3 days. After 3 days of being inside my fridge, here's how it looks. Wash off the Koji rice as best you can. You can try scraping it off, but if you can't, then do what I did and just wash it off. So as you can see, the steak turned into a nice deep red color. There's no nutty smell or anything like that that you would normally get from a dry aged steak. I only use 4 things for seasoning. Black pepper, coarse sea salt, garlic powder, and in this case I want a little herby taste, or I want to experiment, so I used thyme. I'm going to be doing the sous vide method of cooking these steaks, so I want to make sure that both sides are covered with all of the seasoning. I'm going to vacuum seal it to get it prepared for the water bath. I'm going to cook these steaks at 132 degrees Fahrenheit in the water bath. That should give these steaks about a medium finish. My kids are going to eat this, so I don't want to make it medium rare, which I normally like to eat my steaks. But it's going to be in the water bath for about 2.5 hours. The steaks feel a little bit firmer than usual. Pulling it out, I could feel that with the tongs. They're also grayish in color, which is normal for cooking at sous vide. Now I'm going to pat it dry so that it can be ready for the next phase, which is going to be the searing. Searing these steaks is actually pretty quick. Compared to a regular steak cooked with any other method, it would take a while, but because these are kind of semi-dry aged, the moisture has been pulled from it, so they browned really quick. As you can see, the steaks turned out perfectly. Beautiful sear on it. The steaks were not only just tender and soft, but they're also very moist. They didn't dry out at all. Because I cooked it sous vide, the color is pretty consistent throughout the entire steak. As you can see, the fibers of these steak is falling apart, which shows that this steak is tender. As for the flavor, the taste, awesome. It's not like dry age, you don't get the same nuttiness that you do with the dry age, but it does have its own unique flavor profile. Definitely gonna do this again. These steaks turned out awesome. So there you have it. Koji steak. Made the sous vide method, takes about 3 days to do. Now, I did a blind taste test with my family on this. So I made a ribeye in that manner, and I made a regular ribeye, and I had them try the two without even telling them which is what. Everybody picked the Koji. So definitely takes your game up to a different level, and some bragging rights. I mean, to show off to friends that, hey, I know how to make the steak that you don't know how to make. It's best with this type of a steak to keep the flavor, or to keep the seasoning a little bit more simple. I used thyme in the one in the video, and I wish I didn't. I should have just used the salt and the pepper and very little of the garlic powder, or just leave the garlic powder out. That way the flavor of the steak stands out even more. The thyme, I think, kind of ruined it a little bit. So keep all the herbs out, keep it simple, salt, pepper, maybe garlic powder, and you will be happy with the result. So again, comment below if you have any questions. Like, subscribe. You know what all those YouTubers say out there, right? See ya.